It is the GameImpulse. Tyler, my co-worker person, Sam here, talking about Pokemon Black and White. This is gonna be a review. So yeah, I'm guessing I should go first because
Yeah.
Sam will talk a while if you've seen any of the other Pokemon videos. Not that that's a bad thing, you know. But
Remind me of, hey, this is Tyler.
oh yeah, my
fighting works.
So yeah, what about Pokemon Black and White? At first, before I even played this game, I had Pokemon Black. He thinks I have Pokemon White. But yeah, before I was like, I don't really know if I want to get Pokemon Black or White. Pokemon looks stupid. It just looks like they ran out of ideas, and boy was I ever wrong. He got Pokemon Black before me, and he just kept talking about it, how amazing it is. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it, and he was right. Pokemon Black and White, you know, even though I didn't play White, they're essentially the same game, so that's why we're calling it Pokemon Black and White. But Black is just phenomenal. Some of the new Pokemon in there are just really awesome. To me, this is the best batch of new Pokemon since Ruby and Sapphire. Like, I really enjoy using these Pokemon. I want to go catch some of these. And like the 4th gen, there's some really cool ones, but some of them just pissed me off. And I wasn't really like, oh man, I gotta have this. This is such a cool looking Pokemon, and you know, this Pokemon's powerful. You know, in this game, I want to catch them. I want to, you know, train them up. And evolve them. And there's just a lot more love for the Pokemon. You know, the starters are cool as hell. You know, Snivy, the grass starter, is my favorite since Sceptile, and what is it, Trico, from Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. I mean, they're just Snivy rules. The other ones are cool. I haven't been able to use them yet, but they do look very cool, and in like gameplay that I've seen of them, so I definitely will check them out. But they look awesome, and the best part about this game to me is the graphics. These are the best graphics Pokemon has ever had, and what am I gonna say? Some of the landscapes and some of the cities are just absolutely beautiful, and they're very mesmerizing, and they make you want to explore more, to be like, wow, this is so freaking beautiful. I just really want to look at, you know, go explore and find something else that's beautiful. I mean, you never really would think that in a Pokemon game. You know, when I played Pokemon, I never thought, wow, you know, these graphics blow me away, but these graphics really do blow me away. When you get to Castelia City, it's like the New York City of Pokemon. Like, that city is huge. There's so much to it. There's so many buildings to go in. I mean, it's almost overwhelming. I was overwhelmed when I got there because it was just so big and so large and so beautiful. Even the insides of like little houses that you go into are fucking amazing. And like when you cross some of the bridges, how the camera will pan back and you'll see yourself running across the bridge, and there's boats and cars and stuff going everywhere, and it's just the whole scope of the graphics in this game is just awesome. And I'm really glad that they kind of reinvented the whole graphics in this game. You know, they're very colorful, very bright and cheery. The graphics in Gen 4, I felt like were just, they took what Ruby and Sapphire had, the new graphics there, they kind of tacked them on and just made them a little bit better. Like, they weren't a huge improvement, but in Black and White, they're an absolutely huge improvement, and it's very, very, very cool. What am I going to say next? The story is probably the best Pokemon story yet. It's not so much focused on just going to the Pokemon League and catching all these Pokemon and being the best trainer ever. Like, there's a lot of different like plots to it. Yeah, that part is still there, but like Team Plasma is like very, very interesting, and there's this whole guy named N, and just a whole bunch of interesting shit that happens, and it's kind of engaging. You never really would think that. Most people don't play Pokemon for the story. They play it for the gameplay and the fun. And the gameplay and the fun is still here. The battle system's kind of reinvented. I mean, the moves look better. The Pokemon are kind of between 2D and 3D. You know, the whole thing just looks better. It's more fast-paced, which is cool. But overall, this is a solid game, and I really enjoy it. It might be one of my favorite Pokemon games. I still have to play it a lot more to decide whether it's up, you know, up there, but it's definitely climbing up there with every time that I play it. It just gets better and better as you go through. So that's my review of it. That's what I have to say for now. Go ahead.
The first thing I'm going to talk about Black and White is the Pokemon, I guess, individually. Not each and every Pokemon, but some of my favorites of the game are definitely Haxorus, probably easily one of my favorite Pokemon of all time now. Quite the Pokemon, because I love how each generation has their, like, you know, later in the Pokédex, that big powerful Pokemon. It's Generation 1's Dragonair, Generation 2's Tyranitar, or Salamence, you know. Each generation has their own, you know, thing. Garchomp for Generation 4, but Generation 5 has kind of two. They kind of have Haxorus and Hydreigon, who are really two great Pokemon. First thing I've noticed, well, those are just two of my favorite Pokemon right off the bat. The starters are pretty cool. I've played through with Oshawott and Snivy, and they are pretty incredible. Snivy is definitely reliable. But about the gameplay, dealing with the starters, one of the things I really like is how it, like, sort of each region has its own Pokemon, but you kind of have to, like, yeah, my style I used to play like a while ago would be just have like 2 or 3 really good Pokemon and then just have other ones just for the heck of it or whatever. But I feel like this game really does a good job of making you utilize like a full 4 or 5 you know, roster with Pokemon, 4 or 5 Pokemon roster, I guess, where like each type does pretty good throughout the game, and you know each type really, or each area really helps you use that type, I guess. What else? About Pokemon, the leveling, I feel as though at first when I got it, I'm like, alright, this Pokemon is pretty cool. I want this. Alright, I find out how to get it. Alright, you get it here in the map. I'm like, alright, well, when does it evolve until this Pokemon I want? It's at like level 30 or level 40. I'm like, what? Hydreigon evolves at level like 60 something? I'm like
64.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell is that? 64? Before it's like Dragon evolves at level 40 something or 50 something. Like, what the heck? I mean, level 64. But then when you play the game, it really does a great job of like, you think like, how am I going to get a Pokemon on level 64 that's not my starter or whatever, and then I get later in the game. But there's enough challenge throughout the game, and the levels really increase enough to make it fun, you know? Whereas some games would be like, you know, it's just kind of wild Pokemon stop at level like 30, 40, 50 at the most. Like, I know Heart Gold, the highest level wild Pokemon that aren't legendaries, are in the 40s, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 50s, lower 50s. But in these games, it's just, I feel like the trainers Pokemon and everything, it's just like, by the time you're done, by the time you beat the game, I mean, you'll have a good 4 or 5 Pokemon that are all in level 50 or 60, you know? It just, it's a good job keeping you playing and keeping your Pokemon leveling up constantly, so that it's kind of, you know, fun. It adds to the funness of the game. I mean, some Pokemon are kind of a bitch to level up, like Blitzel is probably my least favorite Pokemon, because it's so hard to level up.
Yeah, I agree there.
I mean, the defense, the speed is good, the attack is alright, but the defense is so bad that, I mean...
Substreak is good, though.
Yeah, I mean, the evolution is good. It's just so hard to level that one up. But,
yeah.
Also, to do with the Pokemon, I feel like the fossil Pokemon were really cool in this game. The turtle and the bird, Archon and Tortora. I forget which one's which. But Archops too. Those are really cool. I enjoy the fossil Pokemon. What else about the game? Each city, I feel like it's pretty cool. Like Tyler said, each city is pretty cool. The starter cities that you we'll start in the game in Nuvema. I'm looking at the game here. Nuvema, it's kind of small, and your typical you start out here city. But then the first like 2 or 3 cities that you go to, I feel like there's something there. Like it's pretty cool. Like you get into these cities and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, this is unlike any other game, and you kind of have fun right off the bat. And then, usually in games you just get the starter, and you get like the grass type. But in this game, say you get the grass type, you go get the water monkey, or in the dream yard, you get like a certain monkey for whatever type of starter you picked, and that's pretty cool. It kind of adds to your Pokemon. Like right away, you can get a fire Pokemon, which I feel there's a lack of fire Pokemon in this game, and that kind of bugged me. But city-wise, I mean, it's pretty great like journey going from city to city, and how you have to go to this one and that one. And each city is very well done. Especially with the seasons. I feel like the seasons, that's a great addition to this.
That is cool.
I mean, as in before, sometimes you would just go to a rainy area, or a snowy area, or a desert area. Now it's, well, this has a huge desert area. But, this game, it has seasons where there's snow, and some places you can get to in a certain season because there's snow there, and you can like walk up the bank, and other ones you have to wait till this season, and some of the Pokemon change with the seasons, and that's pretty cool. But also, like Tyler said, with the storyline, I feel like it keeps you playing, and there's just certain aspect of the game with the wild Pokemon being about at the level your Pokemon are. I feel like that's one major improvement in the game that I absolutely love. Like say you beat the gym leader and your Pokemon are about even to his, maybe a couple levels higher. You get into the next area, the wild Pokemon will be about your level. So I mean, you can get some points here and some points there, and it's just kind of an evenly matched game. You're not just easily beating every opponent to where it gets monotonous and just completely mundane. But one of the best, I feel like, one of the smallest but has the biggest impact on a Pokemon game, the things in a Pokemon game ever, having 2 rivals. I feel like that's just really cool. I mean, even if you beat them easily, it's still just cool to have 2 rivals. I mean, it gives a little more competition, it adds to the gameplay and whatnot. Castelia City is awesome. I feel like I didn't like Nimbasa City. I don't know what it was about it. I get there, and there's that like battle subway. I've never been big on the battle subway, the battle frontier, things like that. I've never been big on that. And the amusement park isn't really like an amusement park. It's just like a gym and a Ferris wheel that you ride like once or twice. It's not even that fun. And I just feel like there's not a whole lot to that. And then there's there's a football, baseball, tennis, and basketball stadiums. And like they each switch on the day or whatever, but they're okay, I guess. I just feel like Nimbasa City kind of bored me, and I wanted out of there. I don't know what it was about it. Like, I feel like after coming out of Castelia City, which was really cool, you get to Nimbasa, and it's just kind of boring to me. Like, I don't know what it is about Nimbasa. I just didn't like it. I hated the gym leader for some reason. I mean, it was a fair competition having Emolga and always getting freaking paralyzed, which is an asshole, and having Volt Switch, where they switch out. But I didn't like Nimbasa City, but it was alright. Driftvale is very cool. You get like the gym leaders in this game are pretty easy to beat, relatively easy to beat, but they're pretty cool. Like some of the Pokemon they use aren't bad. I mean, Driftvale is kind of cool. Probably my favorite city is how do you pronounce this? Icarus City. With the Dragon Spiral Tower, I feel like that was a very cool city. Just because you can get some, or one dragon Pokemon in there, which is cool. Like, I love the abundance of dragon Pokemon in this game, because I know at least Black 2, my entire party, my entire roster, whatever you want to call it, is made up of entirely of dragon Pokemon. I have Haxorus, I have Kyurem, I have Zekrom, I now have Reshiram after a trade, I have Hydreigon, Dragonite, Druddigon. Like, the dragon Pokemon are sick in this game. What else? I feel like, yeah, like Tyler said, the bridges are pretty cool. They're pretty neat. Just going across the Sky Arrow Bridge it's like the graphics. That's when like the graphics really hit you. Is like, wow, that's really cool. And then you get into Castelia City and you can ride on the cruise ship and you go up to the observation deck. I mean, that's pretty cool. Just seeing what they did with the graphics. If in Black, I haven't played White. I'm really looking forward to getting White or White 2 and going to White Forest, I think it's called. But Black City is just kind of the view of it, it's just nothing exciting happens there. It's just a bunch of high-level Pokemon trainers you can face, very expensive items that I don't think are very worth buying. It's just, it's neat, I guess. It's just, I didn't really care for it much. What's this city? I'm just using this to remember the names of the cities. Undella Town. That's a pretty neat city. Or town, I guess. And the Pokemon, the trainers up and down, like, Route 13 or 14 are pretty cool, different trainers you can face. By that time, that's when they incorporate, after you complete the main story, they incorporate Generation 1, 2, 3, and 4 Pokemon, I guess. But that's one thing I also like about Black and White. They really put a focus on the new Pokemon, so like you really get into them. Because I feel like if they would have, from the beginning, if they would have incorporated all the other generations Pokemon, you wouldn't really care too much, or you wouldn't really focus as much on the new Generation 5 Pokemon. I feel like them only putting Generation 5 Pokemon up until you beat Getsus and N is like just great. I feel like it really just gets you into the new Pokemon, which is really great to start off with. Like the whole story, the legendaries are pretty freaking cool. I got Reshiram and it's just a kick-ass Pokemon. And so is Kyurem. Oh yeah, those are my other 3 dragon Pokemon I use. I add them to my roster. I have Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom. 3 more dragon Pokemon. But just the whole game, I feel, is like an entirely new experience. I love just the size of the map. It feels so much bigger. It feels new. It feels improved. It feels like something you haven't played before. Like Ruby, it's cool. It's just you go into this town and it's, the graphics. Graphics aside, the towns they aren't bad, I guess. They're okay. And Generation 4, Platinum, Pearl, Diamond, the towns aren't bad. They're just okay. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I just feel like from playing Gold and Silver before, like I just feel like I've played all those before. Like I know where I'm going. This is expected. Just this whole new giant map. It's very, very fun and interesting. And Victory Road. I'm glad they brought back Victory Road. Although I feel it is very, very short. I feel like they definitely improved. Well, when I review Black 2, I'll talk about that. But I thought it was cool they brought back Victory Road. The Elite Four is interesting. I feel like it's just very. What's the word I'm looking for? It's very different, like the types that they use. Like I've never seen Elite Four like they have Psychic, Dark, Ghost, and then Fighting. It's just like those aren't like major types. I always thought like, I'm waiting for another Elite Four that's like Water, Fire, Grass, and Electric. Like the main types. But they use like least used types, like Ghost types and stuff. Like, although I feel they were kind of easy to beat. The story was great. The Pokemon, most of them are great. Some of them are just kind of stupid. I think like Trubbish.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Cotton.
Yeah, Cottony is. What?
Clink.
Clink. I've never used Clink though.
This is, I don't know. I feel like it's weird that they made a Pokemon out of gear.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like some of the Pokemon were definitely redone from before. Like Beartic just looks like Urswing, but you
Yeah.
know, icy. Once again, they used like the early Pokedex entry bird Pokemon. You know, what is it this time? Tranquil and
Unpheasant.
yeah.
And
They
Pidgeot.
weren't bad. I mean, Unpheasant gets pretty useful. He's a pretty reliable Pokemon. Crocodile is pretty cool.
Sock is cool.
Sock, yeah. Sock or Throw.
Rips ass.
They definitely help you a lot throughout the game. But I'm just kind of babbling on now. But overall, the game, I feel like it's from Black and White and earlier. This is definitely the best game from that point. You know, up until these games, these games are the best so far.
What'd you give this game?
I would give it a sizable 9 out of 10.
I'm right with you. 9 out of 10. Definitely check out Pokemon Black and White because they're awesome games. So, till next time, subscribe, love, the game review, Game Impulse.